Hey guys, how are we all doing? Moved to NGVB here today with a video for player versus player for Walken. So, few people have followed the channel. This might give you some helpful insight on player versus player. If you're new to player versus player, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough and how it works, whether it's for you, how much money you can make, and a few pointers. So hopefully this will be beneficial for you. Like I said, everybody who watches this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. As I say, house is more than you'll ever know. I don't charge anything for this channel, and as I say, it really helps it grow and gets the message out there to people who's watching these videos. So enough being said, let's go and do it. Player versus player. So what'll happen is you'll be hit with a choice of wherever your cat is into what kind of duel it can face in. So let's just go on the player versus player duel. So it then gives you the amount of cats you've got. You have to have energy to be able to do this. So you can see that the energy's there on the cats, and it's up to myself or you which choice you want to pick in terms of cats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my own comments today. I think it's a really good starting point for people who are unsure about how the player versus player works. And always make sure you've got some good items of clothing on there. Just before I do start, I'm just going to quickly show you what kind of level this cat is. So the cat's got, it's a level 10, and it's got 3 items of rare clothing, an uncommon clothing, and a common. Needs some sneakers, but again, we're gonna work on that in the coming days and weeks to get these filled up, and maybe up to epics, possibly in terms of the clothing. So yeah, you'll go on there, you'll go to your competition bits, select your cat, and then you'll be hit with this screen here. So there's a few different choices that you could have. Okay, so you've got 10 Walken, which is a one specifically for just common and uncommon cats, which is an entrance fee of 50 misberries, and it'll cost you 1 energy for it. Okay, now in terms of misberries, you can collect them from losing games against other opponents, but you also do need to buy them as well to enter these tournaments. Now, at the minute, I've bought, I'm just going to do a quick calculation here for you. So I basically bought 425 Walken tokens worth of misberries, which got me 5,000. So 425 divided by 5,000. That works out at 0.008 Walken tokens per misberry. So then when we times that by 50 misberries, which is the entrance fee, it means effectively I'm paying 4.25 Walken tokens to be able to enter this. Okay, so if I was to then win that would mean I'd make 5.75 Walken tokens. However, if I lose, I'm effectively losing 4.75 Walken tokens. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, what I would do, depending on how serious you want to take this, okay, is I would have a look at the cost of what the misberries are, and to see how many of them that you actually want to start with, to see how, in terms of like getting your costs down for each game that you play. So let's just go for something like this one here. If you went for the top one and you had basically 6,000 Walken tokens for 100,000 misberries, let's just see how much that would actually save you, to see whether it's worth saving up in the long term for that than what it is to keep buying sort of 5,000 a day or more, which is what I'm doing currently at the minute. So let's just double check again. So let's just say 6,000 Walken tokens, that's divided by 100,000. So that works out at 0.06 Walken tokens per misberry. So if we're again to look at the 50 misberry, nearly did it wrong there. 0.06 times 50, which is the entrance fee. That's only going to cost you then 3 Walken tokens to get in there. So it's about, I think that's 1.75 cheaper than what we were looking at. So that's giving you like a 7 Walken token profit if you were to win. So as you can see, in the long term, you're actually better off trying to save up that money to buy these in bulk if you're going to be doing this long term. So that's something that I kind of knew roughly. I hadn't done the calculations until today. But yeah, if you're going to do it long term, it's going to be worth you invest. The more you can invest in the misberries, the more you're going to save yourself in terms of this as well. Also, the reason why Walken are doing a lot of player versus player is this is how they're making the money as well. Let's not forget there's got to be something in it for the creators as well. So what they're going to do is they're going to be able to recoup the Mistberry cost from both players and pay one player the Walken tokens for the win. However, they're going to collect 2 lots of Mistberries as collection fees, which obviously are payable in Walken, so I hope that makes sense. So yeah, let's do it common and uncommon. I think it's a great place for anyone new to start. So this is what it looked like. Now with the boosters, these are free on here, okay? However, sorry, I know I keep doing it like I'm going to do it straight away and then going back, but it's just a quick one here. If I was to go into a different one, okay, which has a higher reward against other people, you can see that it charges 25 Mistberries for an energy drink. Now what an energy drink, as it says in the tin there, it randomly distributes boosts across the 3 stats, so a bit like what Mistberries do when you play against the, the bots. And you have what's called a red heron, which reduces the opponent's score at the end. This one can be really good or really frustrating, because what you'll see at the end of the game is it'll take a certain percentage off the total score that you get at the end. But it is completely random, and it makes no difference what cat you've got or what stats it is. It's just a completely random number. So sometimes you can be doing really well, and it can lose you the game by zapping more off than what it does the opponent. And vice versa, you can not be doing as well, it can zap more off the opponent. So anyway, without further ado, this is what it would look like. So you'll go into your game, you'll see it's spinning like this while it's trying to find an opponent to play. So we're just waiting for the cat to find an opponent to play, and it'll come across the 3 disciplines, which are urban, marathon, and sprint. So that's not too bad for my cat in terms of its stats. Would have probably preferred the sprint, but let's just see. So starts off with the urban contest here, and as you can see, that's where the boosters put a little bit extra boost into it. So it's about level in terms of that, and I'm slightly ahead on the sprint. And then it takes into factor your steps, and he's got minus 8% on his, minus 12 on mine. I've ended up losing because of that. So yeah, frustrating. That's the second time I've done a video for this where this has happened now. I do surprisingly win about 75% of the duels, and just seems to be every time I show you guys the video it tends to lose. But yeah, don't let that dishearten you. And again, on the previous video as well, the reason why this is showing 20 Walken going to my opponent is because it's an Easter event at the minute. So because it's wearing an item of clothing, it's getting 20 Walken instead of 10. That would have also happened for me if that was the same case for me. So yeah, that's why that guy's done. So congratulations to him. I will get the better of him next time, I'm sure. And yeah, basically that's what it is in terms of how the player versus player works. I'm just going to check if one of my other cats is available at the moment, just to see if I can try and sign this off with a win. It's going to be about another 4 minutes for that. So yeah, you know what, we can keep this video going for a couple more minutes, and if you want to wind forward to when that's ready, then that's absolutely fine. But just in the meantime, I'm just going to show anybody who's a bit unsure about the clothing range, about how the stats kind of work. Now, my strategy with the clothes is not to go too heavy on one attribute. So if you have a cat that has, like say, very good strength and not much else, I'll give you an example. So one of my cats here has got 148 strength. As we can see, the stamina and speed are pretty poor. So if this cat was to land on a stamina or speed player versus player event, it would be in big trouble, you know. Especially if that cat's got, say, like 100 stamina, for example. Might not even be a special cat, but it can it would probably beat mine relatively comfortably. So if I was now going to try and buy an item of clothing for this cat, I would probably, because of how high the strength is, I would probably look to see what the best price would be to kind of get stamina and just speed mainly. If there's a couple of points going on the strength, that's not too bad. So if we went to say the hat, and let's look at something a bit more affordable. We'll go and see a rare. Let's just see what's available here. So I probably wouldn't do that one because strength I'm already quite high with. They do tend to be the cheaper ones. So maybe something along the lines of this. So it gives 6 stamina, which is my weakest area, and it adds a couple of points on the other ones which are a bit higher. Or you can do one where you're just specifically getting rid of strength altogether and just having stamina and speed being added to. One question somebody's asked me, which I'm just going to clarify as well. Common. Don't be caught out sometimes if you buy a common that looks cheap like this. So as you can see, it only has 3 stamina. Okay, nothing else. If you scroll down a little bit further, it's a little bit further down again. Let's see. There you go. Still a common, but you're getting 3 speed, for example, with this one, 2 strength and 1 stamina. Now that is only 11 pence, sorry, not 11 pence, 11 Walken tokens more to get an extra 3 attribute points. And it's still a common, okay? So never, ever go for these ones just because they're a bit cheaper, because I've done that myself in the past. And it's costing us 3 points that I could have for the sake of 11 Walken tokens, which is stupid, really. So always be careful when you're going through there in terms of what you're picking. So in terms of the close, what happens is it should go 6 points for a common that you can add, and then it's I believe it's 7 for uncommon. That's right, yeah. So you got 7 for uncommon, which is kind of, if the price is good for uncommon, maybe try and get that extra point. Rare as well, we're starting to get more into the the big boys and girls game, where we're now adding 10 attribute points to it, so it's starting to really make a difference to the points that's there. It should be 16, I believe, for an epic. As you can see, the price is starting to jump a bit now. So yeah, 16 there for the epic and 21 for legendary, and we'll see a big jump here. So yeah, it starts getting crazy money for the legendary items now. The reason why legendary is quite high, obviously it is rare, but the other reason as well is that these are like the proper players, and the player versus player are like using all legendary kind of clothing to give themselves the biggest chance of getting the wins. So you can, just give an example, 18,700 in terms of Walken tokens at the minute. That would work out at, I think it's 0.0358 was the last time I seen it. So that's like £670 or $800 kind of amount just for that item of clothing. Now you can get up to 6 items of clothing, and they are more expensive than that in different areas, but let's just say they were all the same price. That's how much you'd be looking to pay to basically get it fully kitted out in legendary gear. And I know it costs more than that, because certain items like the shorts, for example, are more. So again, it depends how much money you're looking to make. As you can see, if you did try to play the the higher game, let me show you what that looks like. So for that guy there, it'd be 300 Mistberries with opportunity of winning 50 Walken, which is a good amount. Or if you wanted to pay it with 3 energy, you can get the bigger rewards again, but they are like the elite of the elite in these guys. So just be very careful what you're doing. It is a bit of a gamble, and I don't really like gambling, if you probably already noticed if you watched some of my videos before. But I'm getting prepared, because I think this is where the game's going. It's going to end up being player versus player. So right, if everyone can cross the fingers here, I'm going to try and get a winner for here, just to try and show you that I'm not lying about my win rate. So yeah, let's just see what we get here. So we're going to pick both of these this time. This is different because this is a legendary cat, so I have to pay for these upgrades. So if you are starting off, maybe a common or an uncommon would be good for you, just to stay in that sort of safety zone where you're not spending loads of money, and you've got quite a good chance for a return. So let's just see who's available here for this cat, and let's hope it's not a killer cat, which is what I've seemed to have been getting this afternoon when I've been doing these videos. Please feel free to comment on the strategies below as well, just to say what you think I should be doing, or what you're doing that's working for you. Okay, but while we're watching this here, not a very good boost, but it's a good start. It's an urban run, so I'm slightly ahead of the game, definitely ahead of the game there now. And then yeah, these are 20% taken off, and 20% is the most that can be zapped off you, just so you know. And there you can see my lovely Newcastle shirt is one there, and there's 25 Walken to me. Now, just to give you an idea of that, so 25 Walken sounds good, but always remember how much it's cost you to do it in the first place, okay? So just to work that out for you very quickly, it works out at, so it was 200 Mistberries, and it was at 8 Walken cents for each Mistberry. So it was that times 200. So that's cost 16 Walken to do. And then obviously by the time we take that off the 25, that means that's 9 Walken profit that I've made from that. So it's not huge amounts, do you know what I mean? But 9 times 0.0358 works about 32 pence profit just from that one that one there win there. But as I say, this legendary cat can do 24 of those a day. So if he was doing, at the minute he's doing 24, I think so, I just wiped that off, as about 32 pence, wasn't it? So that's £7.68 a day that one cat can make. And then when we divide that by 4 times by 3, which is 75%, so £5.76 he's making a day in terms of profit by the time you take the Miss Berry's cost off. Doesn't look a lot in the grand scheme of things, but that one cat alone, over 7 days, if it continued at this rate, would make that over £40 over the week. And then we times that by 365. Sorry, my bad. Divide that by 365. We'll times that by 52 weeks of the year. So that cat's making you nearly £2,000 over the course of the year. So that's when we're talking, you know, big numbers. And I've got 23 cats at the moment, so that's why I'm very bullish about getting these guys clothed up, as it's a mistake I've made previously. So hope that helped, guys. I am doing a few of these on the spot today just because I've got a spare hour. So if it hasn't been put together quite as rigid as the other videos, do apologise, but I do hope that's helped. And thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you on the next.